What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of D3 Yappers. We might be, oh my gosh, I totally messed it up.
We might be
We might be D3 runners, but we're
For D3
D1 Yappers at heart.
Man, that was your thing and you messed it up.
I know, I totally botched it. Anyway, it's been a minute since we've yapped with you all, fellow yappers, because the holidays happened and everybody was busy, the world was busy, but we have kind of exciting episodes.
We were busy.
Yeah. We had some good training. Last time we yapped with you guys, we were talking about our week off. So got back to training, had a fun week about in St. Mary's, getting back to running, for me, the swimming, biking, all those fun things. So we can chat about that for a bit, but we really want to focus on do some nice little gear reviews for you guys, some shoe yaps for you coming up on deck. But first off, let's talk about where we're at, how things been training wise.
It's been great so far. Just maintaining that fun, playing in the woods type belief. We went to Glen Helen the other day and ran it up there, and it was cool. Within like the first half mile, we were just running on these. It like just rained like the day before, and so we're running through this like snow/mud, but we're on top of in like a little fenceless like bridge type thing. Like,
yeah, the water was like really high.
It almost looks like we're in like running
marsh.
through a marsh. Yeah. So it was pretty cool, and then we got up to like some waterfalls, and then we ended up getting up into some really like lengthy, like you could just see for miles like ahead, like
farmland kind of.
Yeah, it just got all these different terrain on this trail, so it was pretty cool. Definitely got lost at one point, but you know what, my only thing I should have learned was I needed to just trust myself more, because I went back and looked at the map, and I totally would have got us to the right direction if we would have kept going. But
Still got us back eventually.
And
we were kind of vibing. It was fun.
It was vibing. It was one of those good runs that you just didn't want to end. You felt like you could just keep running forever.
100%.
Really good though. This is our second full week. So our second full week back to training.
I think third.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was our third full week back to training. And we got our first 2 workouts in back. So we did a tempo on Tuesday, little tempo Tuesday action. And then we did hills on Friday, which,
It was yesterday.
Yeah, hills pay the bills. So you got to prioritize that and get that strength in the legs.
Yeah, definitely.
Which it was so cold that I just felt like I couldn't breathe out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild.
And we had some good runs in St. Mary's too. We had a good medium long run there. It was basically a long run for me. It was Christmas Day. Yeah, I got off the bike and
I went like 11.2 because I got 2 miles in before.
Yeah,
you ended up getting
9.5.
9.5 when you were only supposed to get
like 8, I think, on the upper end. But we were vibing. That was a really good run, very memorable. Got a lot of terrains in.
I mean, it was really cool because we were able, different terrains, and I was able to show you a route that basically. That's why we like Derby in Wilmington, Ohio so well, because it gets you the full town. Yeah. It gets you all the perspective. So, I mean, we ran out in the country, showed you the countryside.
Some back roads by the lake, some gravel.
By the lake, got some gravel on that path. So, like all the big hot spots to run, we
downtown
was able to show her. So, it was really cool. And you really get to know a place when you're running it. So,
yeah. Yeah, lots of happenings over break, if you want to expand.
Yeah, so I think 2 days before Christmas, I got a call from my best friend Simon Hayes, and he was like, "Hey man, like I'm gonna pull the trigger and propose like at the zoo the next day." And I was like, "The next day?" And so like we had to drive, round trip 3 hours. But I said, he's like, "If you can't make it, that's fine." He's like, "You were there when it started," so he's like, and so I was like, you know what, like I know like it means a lot to him, and I want to experience that with him. So we were able to really just be able to do that and do a little fun trip. We passed by our roommate's house in Marysville, ate at the Culver's there. It was kind of a vibe, which it was Culver's right next to a Culver's.
Yeah, they're like building a new Culver's. We're just mentioning Culver's because our coach loves Culver's.
Culver's. Maybe Rob will listen to it now.
I really like their fries, but they also have a fire veggie burger, which is probably just frozen.
I like the Culver's Deluxe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, double
deluxe.
We ate
that dinner. What was that, like a 10 p.m. dinner? It was fire though.
Yeah.
It was perfect road trip food.
But then it's funny because also, so we found a light up "Will you marry me" sign in the zoo.
Oh my gosh!
Some guy put out 2 weeks before, and the blindest person there, you, Faith, found it somehow, and I was able to trace the wires back to find the switch, and so we were able to flip that on for Simon when he came up, and it was a nice little surprise. And we got some pictures with them, hung out with them for a little bit, traveled back home, and that previous Friday, our assistant coach, a longtime friend of mine, Josh Cyrus,
he was also at the zoo.
Who also was at the zoo that helped mark out the spots. He just got engaged that Friday, and then Simon got engaged on that Monday. So a lot of people getting engaged in our lives right now. But, we also had some fun runs that Christmas week. We had a run with your brother Sam Duncan and his girlfriend Ellie Ty.
Both University of Dayton alums. So I think Sam's going to train for, what, Flying Pig? Is that what we said?
He's training for the Flying Pig, and then he said he's going to then go into, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, build for, he wants to eventually qualify for the trials for the marathon.
You guys have both talked about that.
Yeah,
also talked about him pacing you for a spicy 10K.
Oh, yeah. He said if he could get down to the shape that I would, he doesn't want to mislead me. So it'd be really cool if I could have Sam Duncan pacing me at a home meet for a good 10K time. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Christmas in general was fire for the runners. I think, well, the first Christmas we did was, we did like our little Christmas.
Yeah, which that we posted a little gear thing for you guys. We posted that little fun video of us in our 10-man gear.
Yes.
I had the full tights and the t-shirt.
You snagged like the Black Friday deal, 50% off.
Oh my gosh, I kept just clicking add to my cart. I couldn't stop.
I've been rocking that hat.
But you got to, when you're a runner and you see gear that's traditionally like upper 80s, upper 70s for their biggest things, or even like upper 30s or 40s, it's not really practical to just like splurge until it's 50% off and everything's 17 to 30 bucks. And it's like, well, add to cart.
Well, and it's fun because like now we have like, I've had a bunch of like Adidas shorts for a long time, but now I'm like, oh, I can go like full Adidas kit, like the long sleeve, which is awesome. It's got like the little
yeah, because you got rid of all your Mississippi State stuff, so
yeah, except the unworn shorts.
You've always kind of had a soft spot for Adidas, so
yeah,
100%.
So now we can just kit it up, and then you also got some wicked cool half tights.
I did. I got. Oh yeah.
Gotta shout myself out. Sorry.
The Nike all black Nike Aero Swift half tights, the most comfortable pair of half tights I've ever worn in my life.
Your Tin Man full tights are pretty sick, though, too.
Yes, they are really sick. They're really cool. I need to break them in a little more because my legs are just too huge. They're just too huge.
Too full. The cross you bear.
Well, it's like you look at the site and then you look at the measurements and you're like, okay, all right. I'm a really weird built of a person sometimes, I feel like. But I also feel normal, like when your dad talks about you on the bike versus me on the bike. Because he's like, no, your legs are normal size.
You're just
he's
more
like,
proportional.
Faith, you're not normal. I'm definitely a little proportional, but like I like my t-shirts large, even though I definitely should wear a medium. But I like them large. I hope that they always strength. All right. All right. Then so, but like the tights or pants or anything like that, that's like smalls.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is what it is. So they're like, the model is Reed Fisher, which a lot of you listeners probably know. He's a marathoner for a 10-man. He's really freaking good. And he's like, what, 5'11", 6 foot probably?
Yeah,
probably
he's taller, I feel like.
He's like 6 foot. And they're like, Reed Fisher wears a medium. The model wears a medium. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm not 6 foot. And I'm not even like, I'm not super close to that either. I'm like 5'7" at my best. So it's
on a good day.
On a good day. So it's like, all right, I guess small. And the funny thing is Roman Mitchell also has a pair of the tights and I think he got a medium. And he's also said that they were kind of tighter than he thought they'd be. So at least I don't feel alone in that aspect, but at least I got them on sale. And so I'll really try to like get them loosened up.
I am so picky with my running tights.
But whenever, like comfortable, like the comfort wise though, it's like really good material and they're really nice and they're sweet. They have like the Tin Man logo on the sides and all that.
The art is really cool. Mad respect for their art.
Oh, yeah.
Last bit of apparel we got. Shout out Mama Tobin. We got the
some
D3
D3
Glory Days t-shirts. So
I got a baby blue one. You got a yellow one.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. We're not trying to copy D3 Glory Days. If you're listening to this, Stu Newstat, Noah Droddy, Emily Richards.
They're awesome. Check
we
them
love
out.
You guys.
At D3 Glory Days.
Mad respect for you. But shoes. Every runner's favorite thing. You got a lot of shoes. You kind of convinced me to get a pair of shoes.
Actually insane. I just have to say this real quick. So I have the Serve, the CRV. And so I have this basket now in my trunk. And it's just all like, it's not all my shoes though. I think I have a pair of 1080s in there. I have a pair of Glycerins in there. I have the Vomeros in there, the Peg Plus, and my trail shoes. I have 5 shoes in there. Talk us through
your shoe rotation right now and what you use for like each day. You have some extras too.
This is right. All right. So right now my shoe rotation consists of an On Cloud Monster. I have a Brooks Glycerin. I have the New Balance 1080. I have the Nike Vomero, the Nike Peg Plus. I have technically the trail shoes. That's a little special one, but I've had this for a while, like a long time. Oh, that's why you're looking at me. So then the last 2 shoes are the same shoe, just different models. There's my Novablast 4, my Novablast 5s. And I wasn't wanting to take my Novablast 5s out of the box, but Faithy D right here got a pair, and she really wanted to wear them, but couldn't justify wearing them, and kept looking at me like, oh, maybe if somebody else wore theirs, I feel justified. So I wore them for 1 long run so far. They're freaking amazing. They have the upper.
They are amazing.
They have the upper of the most recent Gel Nimbus.
It's very similar, like in the heel cup
fit,
too. Yeah,
heel
same
cup
mesh.
But I really like the Novablast 4s as well. So I have like a shoe rotation of like 8 to 9 shoes. So I have a little bit over the, I even got my Saucony Speed 4s.
That you use for workout days, yeah?
Technically, I still have some miles left on my Cloud Monster Hypers as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of shoes I have the option of. You don't need to get shoes for a while now.
Yeah. Right now, we have some that have a little overlap. I don't have as many as you. I have, in my current rotation, I have my On Cloud Monsters, the ones, and I use those for more like faster stuff. Like I use those for the hills and for the tempo this week. We've got the Novablast 5, obviously, as we just talked about. I've used it for 1 run. It was that long run in the rain, which is the true test, and it passed with flying colors. We're going to chat a lot about that shoe here shortly. I've also got the Mizuno Wave Rider, which was one that I did not think I would like, but I actually really like it. It's definitely grown on me. That I just use for most of my like normal miles and stuff. Those are my big 3 at the moment. If I'm just like lifting or if I'm doing a run off the bike, I use my Saucony Ride. And then I have a pair of Brooks Hyperions that I want to bust out at some point, but I need the perfect day for it.
So, the Vomeros. So my sister, she got me the Nike Vomero 17s, and I wanted those shoes, and I put them on my list. But I tried them on as a 10, so it's like, it's whatever. They're actually a naturally wider shoe of Nike's as well, just like the Peg Plus was, which is perfect for my foot. And so, and they have like a thicker heel, but for some reason, it must have just been that it was just such a bigger, like the 10 was just so much bigger. And I think I might have a special edition of the Vomero, the neon. I think that's
the colorway.
I think it might be like sometimes they make like a special like the Air Pegasus.
Oh yeah,
like the Air Mag Pegasus that has like the air. Is the Zoom X foam, and it has the air bubble, and then it has their other foam in it. Like
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
People are like, should you run in that? It's got like an air bubble in it. Are you sure you're supposed to? Because like that's like their bougie shoe look, but it's kind of like it's cool because they have the Zoom X foam in it, which I said that many times. I really like that foam. Mm-hmm. So it has a little bit more of that. I wonder if I want to look it up here. Here it is. Watch. I swear, once I click on this shoe, the model's going to say something else right here. So I think it's a special edition. It's Nike Vomero 17 Talaria. Is that how you would say that? Talaria?
Something like that, yeah.
It's a different design, but it's the same shoe. I don't know, but I really, really like it. It just looks the slightest bit different.
It's funny because when you tried it on in the store, you were kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want that, but it was already on your list. And so when you opened it, you're kind of like, oh, but
I was like, oh, but they could be kick around shoes no matter what.
But you've worn it for so many runs at this point. Even the trail run, you wore it on the trail run,
dude,
and you loved it.
I loved them on the trail run. It was great.
Well, I think that also speaks volumes about transitioning from like the roads to like dirt or gravel in those shoes, because you used them on the gravel pads at St. Mary's too. So
they're great on the gravel.
Yeah,
they're just a very rolly shoe. They have, obviously, it's my number one pet peeve with Nike shoes, but it's probably going to be like this for a long time, is they have that huge heel, but they're actually like pretty light. And the heel actually flows, the drop's not as much as I thought it was to the forefoot.
It's about a 10 millimeter drop.
Which is that pretty standard?
It's pretty standard, yeah.
So it wasn't anything too crazy.
Most Nikes are about 10. Weight-wise, it's for the cushion you get, I feel like it's pretty good. It's 10 ounces, 10.1 if you look on like the brand side actually, but yeah, not too shabby.
But honestly, it's been like one of my shoes of choice. What I was going to say earlier when I was talking about my shoe crate in the back of my car is I have this like system now. So now whenever I run from my apartment, I'm always using my shoes that are in the house. And I always leave the two Nikes, those 5 shoes I mentioned at the start. Like the trail shoes. Wow. that was very difficult on a Saturday afternoon. The trail shoes, the 2 Nikes, the New Balance, and the Glycerin, they all just live in the back of my car. So whenever I need them, I'll have them. So I always use them when we go somewhere.
Yeah.
So like that.
Yeah. Your other Nikes you're talking about were the Peg Plus.
It's actually like really surprising. It's super light, but it has like a huge stack of Zoom X foam.
Yeah. It is about like an ounce and a half lighter than the Vomero.
I could totally tell.
Yeah. How would you say it stacks up in terms of just like the comfort compared to the Vomero then?
I would say the Vomero's more, your Vomero's is more turning into like how the Invincible is set up to be. It's more of a less squishy and Nike Invincible, which the Nike Invincible, if anybody knows that shoe, that's like their big bulk mile shoe, because it's got this huge just wad of foam underneath it. And so this is kind of like on like a lesser scale. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say it's not as heavy, which I could be wrong, but and the Pegasus Plus is like, it can take actual durability, but you're definitely more up tempo on it a little more.
If you had to pick one, which would you pick?
You can't put me on the spot like that. I just had a really like a very enjoyable, like not only was the run good, but like the experience of the run was good in those shoes. So it's like I kind of have a super bias towards the Vomero.
Yeah.
Towards the Pegasus Plus.
I feel like you've been liking that shoe pretty much since you got it out of the box. I'm a big believer in like, if you can wear a shoe right out of the box and not feel like you have to break it in or get used to it, it's a pretty good shoe for you in your first run of the Peg.
And the color is great. I know it's like some people might be like, oh, that's neon, that's kind of ugly. When you're a Wilmington person and green is everything, I think it's pretty freaking great. But I've been loving that shoe. They're very, very, very good.
Also, briefly, you mentioned that you have the Brooks Glycerin back there. There's a new model of the Glycerin coming out.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
that we were looking at. If you want to chat about that for a bit.
Which, I mean, the 21 wasn't out for, I didn't think it was out for too long. Maybe I guess it's been a year now. But the Brooks Glycerin 22 is out now. Well, its release date is February 1st. It is awesome. It has a bigger stack height now than the last model, and it has that DNA tuned foam in it that the Glycerin Max has in it. It almost looks more...
So they swapped the DNA loft with the DNA tune. Different. I don't know how I feel about it. I've been such a fan of the Glycerin since like the 17 on.
It looks like they kind of have a little more of a stealthier fit to it too, with the little tab on the back.
Yeah, every time I've tried one, I've really liked it, but it looks like they just redid this one so much. And I tried on the Glycerin Max, really comfortable just walking around it, but running in it, there's no way I could do it. So I'm a little nervy about this one.
Yeah, but I like the look to it though. I'm not gonna lie, it's very attractive. I will say, if it runs anything like the Glycerin Max, I might have to say it's a loss for me. But look at this women's colorway. Come on, you can't tell me that's not the
It is fire.
thing.
Brooks, I will say their designers are getting a lot better.
They're getting so much better.
Yeah.
Except no hate. Actually, no, all the hate on the new design for the Brooks Ghost Max. That kind of made me sad. You know what I'm talking about? They look like
the Ghost Max
fast food wearing shoes.
Yeah, especially the all black colorway.
Look at the new Adrenaline as well.
That looks fire.
Like some of these shoes just like completely just with the style and everything just looks so much different.
So the new Glycerin, same heel to toe drop at 10 millimeters foam. They're both right around 10 ounces. So I'm really interested in seeing how they stack up against each other. Actually, for me, the fit is such a big thing with the shoe. It does look like they blended that stealth fit upper. They used to have the stealth fit upper on the Glycerin as an option and then just the traditional mesh, but now it kind of looks like they're just going for one all together there. So it'll be exciting to try. The other shoe that Brooks is coming out with is the new Hyperion.
Hyperion Elite.
It's the Hyperion Elite 5.
It's so cool. It looks almost like it has such a Vaporfly look to it. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like I almost would be like, I want to try that shoe. It's an unreleased prototype though right now, and it's got a total sock upper with the bottom with the DNA foam. Is that gold?
I think it's DNA Amp is what they use in that shoe.
DNA. It looks slick. And I love how they're starting to do more of their. It's like how the old school Nike logo is the written out Nike with a little Nike symbol out in it. You know what I mean? It's so cool that they're starting to put the Brooks just in bold letters on their 100%. Shoes. I think that's so slick.
Oh, so it does have a 40 millimeter stack height, which I think that's the highest you're allowed to go right now. And 8 millimeter drop. Highest you can. It's going to be about 6.3 ounces. So that cuts off a good chunk of weight from the Hyperion Elite 4, which was 7.8. Still has that 8 millimeter drop though.
Less than that's like a whole ounce and some off.
Yeah. Yeah. Really exciting. Okay. So that'll be a really fun shoe.
Definitely the bulk of that is mostly probably the new foam, and then also on top of that the new upper. Oh. The upper is probably like nothing.
Yeah. 100%. It looks much
so
more
nice.
Vaporfly-esque.
It looks so cool. Like right here, you're like, oh, that's the Vaporfly.
I gotta get my hands on that somehow.
Yeah, I think you would be successful in that shoe. That'd be a good shoe for you.
Yeah, all these new shoes have come out and been announced for 2025 now at the running event, which sounds so cool. I want to go there someday. So somebody, please get me a ticket to the running event where you can just go look at all the new stuff being released for the next year ahead of time. That'd be so fun. The last one that we want to talk about that I am so excited to talk about. Can you guess? You know exactly. It's all caps. I'm so excited to talk about this shoe.
The Novablast 5.
Okay.
You can take the reins for it since you're the one that bought it. You totally bought it first.
All I can think of is Dr. Doofenshmirtz backstory. Okay. So backstory.
Your dad made you a garden gnome? Is that why you wanted these shoes? Correct yourself.
Okay.
All right, Novablast 5, go.
I used to be able to say I work at Buckeye Running Company. I worked at Buckeye Running Company until this month. Buckeye Running Company in Mason just moved locations. They're on Ward's Corner Road now. Shout out Buckeye Running. Love them so much. Been getting my shoes there since high school. Got to work there. It was like dream first job. Absolutely loved my time there. But we carried Asics religiously. A lot of their models, and I got a pair of Gel Nimbus 26s there at the beginning of last year, and really liked that shoe. Just loved the fit. It was a little bit on the heavier side, but I really didn't mind because again, I'm all about the fit. And that was it. Then I'm kind of a slut for shoes. Got to try all the shoes. Got to try all the shoes. So tried a bunch of different models. Didn't go back to the Asics, and then you would ask me while I was at work. It was one of my last days at work. I had my last day there on Friday. I was the last person to work in the Mason location of Buckeye Running Company. It was really a cool, special moment for me to have my last shift there on the closing shift. Anyway, you would ask me on my second to last shift if there was anything in your size there. And I was like, oh, he was running the Novablast 4. Here's a Novablast 5. But it didn't click in my brain that you had the 4 and we had the 5. I just was like, oh, Novablast, men's 9.5, boom, got it, done. I'll bring you some shoes. Anyway, so I get back and we get the shoes out, and you were like super pumped because you realized it was the 5 and not the 4, and you tried it on. You're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, I
this
had no
feels so
clue
good.
that Buckeye Running Company got in the 5s.
Yeah. So anyway, then I went back in for my last shift, and I was like, oh, like I just wanted to check and see because you had tried them on, and you were like, oh, you would love this. It fits like the Gel Nimbus, which you had never run in the Gel Nimbus. Wait, no, you did.
No, I did.
Yeah, which you would run the Gel Nimbus.
Shoes away to one of our teammates because he needed a pair of shoes.
Yeah. Anyway, you'd run the Gel Nimbus. I'd run the Gel Nimbus. I really like the fit of it, and you're like, you would really like the fit of this Novablast. It's like a really lightweight version of the Gel Nimbus. And I tried it on in the store, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I just keep getting shoes and hitting home runs with them. Like, that was like how when I put those Mizuno Wave Riders on, and I didn't expect to like it, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Total responsibility.
Yeah, you're making me try all these shoes that I wouldn't normally try. Because I've been like a Glycerin girly for so long. That's always been in my rotation. But anyway, tried this shoe on and was like, I can't not get this shoe, and it's my last day at work, so I'm going to get it. So got the Novablast 5. We went to do our long run on Sunday. We did 12 miles, a little bit over 12. It was a really great loop. It was rainy, so it was the true test for the shoes for both of us. And I basically was like, hey, I really want to wear these shoes. I don't need them yet. I was just going to save them until my Wave Riders died and replace them. But, you know, I gaslighted myself into wearing them by saying, hey, if you just have more shoes in your rotation, your shoes will just last longer. And I said the same thing to you.
And my mom last night.
Yeah. That's how we justify things. It's an investment, okay? Shoes are an investment in our health and performance, which is what we want to become our career, so it's worth it. Anyway, we ran in these shoes, and I was amazed. It was one of those where, like, I wasn't thinking about the shoe on my foot during the run, except when every now and then I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in new shoes, and these feel great. And I can't wait to run in them for my second long run in them tomorrow. It's a perfect long run shoe. It is literally just like a lightweight version of the Gel Nimbus. The word that comes to my mind when I think about it is marshmallow. It's my marshmallow shoe. The specs on this shoe here.
But it's definitely more firmer than... You don't like marshmallow shoes, though. A whole lot.
Yeah, not too much.
You like a firm marshmallow. You like a marshmallow before it's in the fire. You like a nice cold marshmallow.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
Yeah.
So it's 9 ounces weight wise. It's an 8 millimeter drop, and the bounce is there. The cushioning's there. It's awesome. If you like a thick heel cup to keep any heel slippage, if you like something with some good tread. I mean, it was rainy and we didn't really get any slippage. It's a perfect shoe for you. Do you have any thoughts or things you want to share on that end?
I don't know. I think you said it best. The truest test of a shoe is how they do in the rain. And
no blisters either.
No blisters, no uncomfortable pains, no shifting around in it. Not like it's a very, very, very good shoe. I mean, I think Ons are my favorite shoe to wear in the rain, but that one was very comparable to my best experiences of shoes in the rain. So it's like I've had some really bad experiences with shoes in the rain, or just getting really, really sweaty from the really hot days in the summer. Like the Hoka Clifton, I think 8 at the time, was terrible. I have a memory of it with your brother.
Oh.
When I went on a long run with Sam Duncan, I had 18 miles. He had 16. And I was finishing up 2 more with him, and like we just kept talking about how all we could hear was my shoe just squishing every step because of how soaked it was. They were waterlogged from my sweat.
Yeah, that's probably the most marshmallowy I've gone with a shoe is the Clifton, which I really enjoyed that shoe for a while, but that was my summer shoe. Alrighty, so that was most of the gear and stuff that we collected, so we're excited to yap more about that as we gather data about it in the weeks to come. We're going to close things out with our normal stuff. What was we haven't talked about this yet, actually, your best run and your worst run since we last yapped in our off-week episode?
My best run has to be... That tempo was pretty great because it was just... I was talking the whole time. It was good vibes. We've had a lot of good runs lately. That's the thing.
Yeah. Worst run?
So my best runs would have to be a collective of runs from this week. Like...
It's really hard to choose. I totally feel that.
The Tempo run, the Glen Helen run, those were all big winners. This past week's long run was really good. 14 miles in the rain, which is funny because it was in the rain, but that was like a really good run. The route was good. It was just,
it was awesome.
After 3 miles.
Did not feel like, well, I did 12, you did 14, did not feel that long at all.
Yeah. After 3 miles, it was just us and we were just vibing and we were just talking about what we were going to talk about today even. So it was a really fun run. And so those are probably my favorite training runs as of right now. And the tempo was really good. I did it with Trevor Billingsley, who literally hopped out of his car and did a 4-minute warm up with me and like just like gamed up for it. But we were going like 5:40. Well, we averaged like 5:38 pace. So we were really just taking, well, for me, as it being my first workout back, just taking it easy, sliding back into things. But yeah, then the trail run. So like all sorts of runs all over the spectrum, all great runs. And then probably the worst run was probably the day after we lifted. Like on how I felt wise was probably the worst run. Just because
Wednesday?
I think that was the one. Was that New Year's Day?
That was New Year's Eve. No, that was New Year's Day. Oh my gosh, that's 100% my worst run also.
Yeah.
Not because we party hard or anything. Like, but I just felt like crap.
Yeah, we didn't party hard. We ate hard.
Mexican food.
yes, actually, yeah. But not fiestas. Dane Klosterman Mexican food.
Really good. And Haley Cook, our roommate, shout out. Made some tacos.
Shout out.
Yeah. I had to poop on that run like twice.
Thank you for that.
Now that people know. But yeah, that was going to be my worst run, was that Wednesday morning run.
You're just full of shit.
I am. What percent
What percentage of BS are you? 99.97%.
Low key, yeah.
What were you going to say though?
Which I was really hoping that would be a fun run because we drove out to like kind of a destination bike path for it, met up with some friends, out of town, met up with some recruits.
It was fun though.
Yeah,
the vibes of the run were fun.
Good vibes. My body just didn't feel good. But every other run I felt fantastic. The Yellow Springs run, I'll echo exactly what you said. Glen Helen.
So good.
Like literally we got lost. Good. We got lost and I was like, take me 10 miles over today. I don't care.
My head still feels a little bruised from when I ran into a wire along definitely some guy's farm. we basically got out to this spot where we were literally we're passing signs that said like dogs are unleashed on this property, carry on at your own risk, basically, and horses. So we were on these horse trails.
There's this one fence, and you're like, I think if we climb the fence, we can get to the road. And I was like, wait. What's on the other side of the fence?
Which is what we said. And then Henry was like, oh no, we'll just get over the fence. And like it was definitely like along the horizon, so you really couldn't see over it. So I felt like we're in like this like old timey army movie. Like I felt like
oh my gosh, when you guys went out in the one field and started like pretending like you were in battle,
that was actually fun. This is why if you look at my Strava and you look at that run in Yellow Springs, you will see the title is. You said what? It was playing
in the woods.
Play in the woods.
Like I say this all the time to you. I feel like you get it when I'm like, I don't understand how people cannot like some aspects of training. Like we do core and we like poke at each other or like 100%. Make each other like laugh, and then core just hurts more or stuff like this. Like being out in the woods, like it just feels like play. Like when the pace means nothing.
Well, it's like my average pace still came out to like 7:25 pace.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I didn't pause my run really at all, and we walked a couple of times because you had to. And it's like there was times where we were going
tracking.
Yeah, there was along the electric fence. There's times where we were like running and it was like 10-minute miles. Well, then we never logged a 10-minute mile, but we got down to that pace. And there was times where I got up to like 5:40 pace.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny. Like there's a couple times during that run, I was trying to run away from everybody to like hide and like, jump out. Like it was literally just a fun run.
Yeah.
And it was very enjoyable. You need those runs. As a high training volume athlete, like if you don't have runs like that, for starters, those are your best recovery runs.
Especially soft surface.
I'll see 100%. And you need those runs to stay engaged sometimes.
Yeah.
And because you have to make it fun. Because if you're not trying to make it fun, why are you doing it?
Yeah. And Yellow Springs, Ohio is just such a fun, vibey area. We went to a good little coffee shop cafe after, hung out with our teammate, Tyler Parks.
Oh, yeah. Very good conversations. We were there for another 2 hours.
An hour or something like that.
We thought it was going to be this like short, like get in, get out trip because our buddy Henry was kind of on a time crunch because he had stuff to do with his family and maybe his girlfriend. But I love
just making a day of it when you go somewhere to run.
We had our little hot chai lattes. actually craved soup for once because we were so cold.
So good.
So it was actually really good. That might be a thing we do a lot more often.
Yeah, so that one was really good. Long run, like you said, was really good. I'm super excited to long run again tomorrow. Worst run, was that Wednesday run. On that note, I guess we'll do our Strava shout-outs. This is going to bring up a different run now. Our run in St. Mary's with Roman Mitchell.
I knew you were going to say that.
Roman Mitchell, you're my Strava shout-out. Fellow triathlete. It was really fun to just talk with someone about triathlon YouTube and watts and power output on the bike and all things Zwift.
It's going to be like our yearly anniversary every year.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get more runs with him. But
it was also just fun because you're
that was the same time last year was when we ran with him. Much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Really fun. Just it's easy to pick up with him wherever you left off. So shout out Roman Mitchell. Give him the Strava follow. Give him the Zwift clout.
100%.
Yeah. That would be my Strava shout out.
My Strava shout out's my training partner from this past week. And also fellow, not to be cringy, but fellow warrior in Christ, Trevor Billingsley. He's just a really good guy and
really fun around with him.
It was really, I think my perspective on his demeanor and his work ethic really changed after our tempo together, because we did a lot of training runs throughout the summer, but you really learn more about a person when you're doing workouts with them, because it's supposed to suck, it's supposed to be hard, and you're supposed to work like a good amount of that run. So when you're going through those little trials together, it brings things up, and it was really cool. We were able to, during our 5 mile tempo, which is kind of crazy, we were talking about because I got baptized after he stopped running with us because he was really busy. And so he didn't really he wasn't able to experience my journey back to Christ and to the walk on the right path. And so then I was kind of just talking about it, and he's like, dude, that's powerful. I was telling him some points that I had, and he was like, I've never thought of it that way. And then he brought up some points. I was like, this is crazy. And keep in mind, this is all while we were running 5:38 mile pace, so which is kind of wild. And we were kind of a little area, but it kind of helped us chill out a little bit too, and not push the pace to 5:25s, which is what coach did not want us to do.
It was more like a sub T kind of day.
A little steady state run, but it was really good. And then we did hills with him, and he handed my butt to me on the last rep, but we fought hard. It's good to know that he worked really hard because he was gassed after that. So it's nice to know that somebody has to be completely gassed to get me at that workout, because that's a hard workout.
It was fun to watch you guys too on that workout, because I knew the last rep was going to be.
You kind of touched on this. I just feel like he very mindset wise, the energy I put out, he just reciprocates it back.
Yeah. And
it's just cool having people like that in your life, because sometimes no matter what you say to somebody, they might not reciprocate the energy, which is okay. It happens. Not everybody wants to be in a good mood. It's just how it is sometimes. But it's been really cool. It's a privilege, and I talked about this with you earlier this week. It's a privilege to have friends in Christ.
100%.
The bond that happens so quickly. I really understand why my brother makes friends so quickly at church, because it's you're brought together. You might be completely different, but you get brought together, and it's with me and Trevor, we have two things in common. We have running and we have God, which is two of my biggest things in life right now. The only other thing would be you, but I mean, he knows you, so obviously. But so that's the big thing is we would talk about both things and we relate them. So that's my Strava shout out is Trevor Billingsley. You should give him a shout out, give him a follow on Strava, and just give him a follow on Instagram too if you can. Trevor Billingsley.
We'll link him and Roman on our Instagram story. Put their Stravas on there so you can give them a follow. And their
Instagrams too if you need them to. But one of the last things I wanted to say before we get out of here is we're wanting to start some different segments. One podcast is just going to be just about our gear updates and cool things we found out about that, even stuff, shakeups in the running community. And then other stuff, we want to do a segment of interviews. And one of those people, this is why I brought it up, is we're talking about Trevor, and one of the things people can give us feedback if you want to DM us on our D3
or if you want to be interviewed, if you think you have a cool story or recommend somebody to get interviewed. So
definitely reach out and let us know. We just really want your feedback. Before we go, we always do a little testament, a little saying for the week, or maybe something we learned. But it was kind of me the past couple of times. So Faith Duncan, what is something that you learned that you valued this week, or at least, or maybe it could be something that you're struggling to understand. What is something?
Oh my gosh, you're targeting me with this.
I'm totally targeting you. What is something that people might need to know? And you can give a little backstory on it, or you cannot, or you could just say something very simple. What is some words of advice for the week, or mantra, or motto?
Fight your body, but only when it's right. I used to have a swim coach. Shout out Jim German. He was the first coach that I had that I was like, oh my gosh, this is a fantastic coach. I want to race really well for you. It's when I was in like middle school. And he used to say when workouts would get really hard, or like when the race gets hard, you have to fight your body. Like lactic acid's going to build up. Your limbs are going to be heavy. You're going to be breathing hard. Try not to swallow water. You're going to want to pop off those walls and go straight to the surface and suck in a big breath of air, but you have to fight that instinct and keep your head down and keep counting your strokes and keep your streamline strong, even when it's not easy. And I think about that a lot during workouts now, like on the hills, like my legs were getting wobbly and heavy that last rep. And I was like, fight your body. Like, come on, you can do it. You're its master. Like, make it do what you want. But also there's days, like we talk about this with injury a lot, like with my injury history, medical past stuff, is like, there's a time and a place to fight your body, but there's also a time and place not to. Like, if you're on the bike and every pedal stroke is hurting your knee for some reason, you should probably not be fighting that. You should probably listen to your body there and be like, your body's also your friend. Even though you have to fight it, sometimes at the end of the day, it's what allows you to do the things that you want to do. So fight it when you have to and when it's appropriate. But other than that, you have to be very kind to it and listen to it, because at the end of the day, it's your friend. I hope that's what you were targeting.
No, 100%. And just a little touch to that on my warm-up for the workout with Trevor Billingsley. We talked about it, and he kind of touched on it, and he was like, sometimes you have to take fitness as a day-to-day thing, and sometimes you have to separate fitness and health, like totally, completely, to get the best that you can get that day. Sometimes it's not about the tangibles of the day. It's about what is your actual best for the day. And your best is different every day. Nobody can just keep grinding and grinding every day. Like if somebody's going to run 100 miles, they're not going to run. Some people might run, you take 100 miles divided by 7. Some people might run that exact thing every day. But most people, they have a way that they do it. So they'll do a long run, whereas 20% of that. So they'll do 20 miles on Sunday, and then they'll average like 12 every day. Well, 2 of the days that week, they'll run twice. And it's like, so it's like even in just mileage, there's a different standard every day. Every day is a different standard. And if you just do what your body can do for that day, that's enough. Sometimes when you're really a high level training athlete who doesn't struggle to get in the volume, doesn't struggle to get in what's asked or to go above and beyond, your biggest thing that you can work on is making sure you're recovering properly, listening to your body when it's not feeling good, in the sense of like hurting.
And I think that's the other thing that you didn't say it to me, but you basically walked me into saying it to myself. Is like at the end of the day, we do the sport to glorify God with our bodies, because a healthy body is such a gift.
I totally walked you into that. I love
it. Yeah, 100%. And it's like such a gift to have a strong, healthy, capable body, and it glorifies God when you use it. So is it really for His glory if you're grinding it to a pulp to where everything you do hurts and you're not getting joy from
Say it how you said it to me. God wouldn't want you to what?
To be on the bike like, ow, 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 ow. Is that how I said it?
Yes, that's exactly how you said it. That was a good quote. But other than that, I think that wraps up this. This is episode 5. Yeah. It's episode 5 of the pod. And thank you to all of our loyal listeners for tuning in, and all of you new here, like and follow the pod, and follow our Instagram, D3Yappers.
Share it, it helps.
Please share. We do a lot well when people share on there. We get a good reach for that. So keep good faith, and I wish everybody good health, and I wish everybody luck in their endeavors for the new year.
Yes.
Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025.
On that note, signing off.